Hello, welcome back to another video. What's that saying? The best things in life are free? Well, in today's video, we'll be looking at Minecraft shaders from the cheapest to the most expensive. Cheapest meaning free, obviously, and the most expensive being about $120 for the year. Now, do bear in mind, a lot of these shaders are still in alpha, and those that cost money do plan on releasing free versions, but for the early access, you do have to pay a premium. Now, these shaders do work for Minecraft version 1.16.5, and some do work for version 1.17. The shaders ranked here range between very realistic looking to semi-realistic, conceptual, stylized, whatever you want to call it. And do stick around for the end because I do have a comparison of every shader one by one showing the same scene so you can see a comparison of how they line up. And if you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, Voyager is a pretty interesting shader. It is relatively realistic. I think its true qualities pop out at night. The shader right here is relatively conceptual. Its most apparent qualities is the volumetric lighting coming from the sun. I think it's pretty beautiful, the sun and the moon. Materials aren't the most realistic, but the conceptual feeling is unmatched. Now, if you're looking for something great for survival, I would say the shader is a pretty good choice. SEUS Renewed is a free version of the SEUS product line. It is quite beautiful. Obviously, it is a relatively realistic looking shader. The sky and the sun aren't always the most realistic, but the material qualities and the water reflections are relatively realistic. Sora is probably the least realistic shader on this list, but it's quite beautiful, really quick, and obviously it's free. I think the sky and the clouds are relatively conceptual and stylized, and are probably the best parts of the shader. Again, this would also be another good choice for our survival mode. VSL is one of those free shaders that are all around pretty amazing. Amazing post-processing effects, including depth of field, which I think is one of the best. Also relatively realistic, but also has a stylized look to it. So depending on how you control the qualities, you can change the feel of it. So it's very customizable. And the texture maps really pop using this shader. MollyVX is a premium texture pack that costs $5 for a one-time fee, or you can support them $5 a month on Patreon. Now, MollyVX feels like it's something out of the future. Not the most realistic looking shader, but truly impressive. I think the standout point here would be the artificial lighting coming from light sources such as torches. At times, some of the lightning rods feel like lightsabers, and that's kind of cool. I think this is a very interesting shader for survival. SEUS PTGI is a $10 one-time fee on Patreon, or you can support them every month paying $10 a month. SEUS PTGI being a staple, working very well with texture packs with high resolution. In terms of performance, there's many versions of PTGI that are higher performing than others. I've seen many resource packs design their textures around SEUS PTGI, making it an advantage for some cases. A Continuum 2.1 or early access is probably the most comprehensive of all the shaders and the most complex. Now, complex being a very good thing here. Very customizable in the settings. Now, the volumetric qualities on this shader is really stunning. The sunshine reflecting in the waters, the material reflections. Now, all around the material texture maps are going to be picked up very nicely here, all coming at a one-time fee of $15 for early access. Now, Continuum RT is a fully ray trace shader coming from the Continuum Graphics product line. Now, Continuum RT is probably going to give you one of the most realistic lighting feels from all the shaders shown here. You notice that the lights kind of flicker and they feel real from a campfire. You'll notice the light coming from the sun reflecting on material allows PBR texture map to pick up on that quite nicely. Now, Continuum RT does run at $10 per month. It is a subscription-based plan. And finally, a comparison side by side for each shader. Now, do keep in mind, every shader here is being tested with the NAP 2.5 texture pack. If you want to see a similar video showcasing the cheapest to the most expensive texture packs, please let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.